When I got kidnapped, David was with his new girlfriend Vivian, watching the sunrise. Casually, he told the kidnappers, "Tie her up, no rush to rescue her. It'll teach her a lesson, and she'll stop bothering me." That's good. Trying to survive, I decided to take the lead. I took off my clothes and embraced the kidnapper, shivering as I pleaded, "I'll behave. Please don't kill me." Eventually, David finally thought about rescuing me. The head kidnapper laughed, looking down at my sleeping form in his arms. "She's exhausted. Not sure she can even walk away with you." The sound of waves crashed against the speakers, echoing through the rundown warehouse. David's voice came through, lazy with a slight drunken slur. "Anna, the ways you try to get my attention never cease to amaze me. Yesterday, you had my mom harass me about getting married, and today it's this kidnapping stunt. If you're gonna die, just do it. Don't interrupt my sunrise with Vivian." Tears of fear spilled down my cheeks onto the ropes binding my hands and feet. I shook my head, desperate to explain. "I'm not pretending, not making this up. I have no clue why your mom suddenly went to the press about our engagement. Please, just believe me this once and come save me, okay?" "Save you? Sure, why not?" David replied indifferently. 50 million, right? I'll pay." Hearing this, the kidnapper immediately chimed in. 5 hours, Boston, cash in hand. "Forget about the girl." David's voice oozed with disdain and mockery. "Let her learn her lesson. Stops bothering me. This money is just your fee for training her." "Are you serious?" The three kidnappers exchanged glances, skeptical. David laughed coldly, hiding an inexplicable threat. "You dare harm her, and I'll pay." Tears broke free, and I closed my eyes in utter despair. "David, do you really hate me this much?" I sobbed, unwilling to give up. "I'm really kidnapped. I don't need training. Just save me this once, and I'll never bother you again." "David, the sun's up." Vivian's cheerful voice rang out over the phone. "It's beautiful." Even through the phone, I could clearly hear the sound of their lips meeting. An intense and passionate kiss I could only imagine. Despair engulfed me. I stopped struggling and sat there, staring at the only ring David ever gave me. Turns out, promises made in youth don't count. David, who at 16 swore to marry and protect me forever, changed somewhere along the way. "Sorry, David. I annoyed you all these years. I won't anymore. Never again." The other end went silent for a moment, then abruptly disconnected. The busy signal echoed through the warehouse. The three kidnappers exchanged looks, the youngest scratching his head, looking confused. "Gary, does David want to rescue her or not? Isn't 'if you dare harm her' kind of a threat?" The man called Gary gritted his teeth. "Who cares what he means? We just want the money." "She's David's officially acknowledged fiancé from the news. We film her, and David won't dare back out." Gary pulled out a white handkerchief, gripped my head, and covered my nose with it. A strange scent filled my nostrils, making me dizzy. My shirt was roughly torn, and Gary's determined voice came from above. "No more talking. Let's have some fun with her." "But Gary," the young one hesitated, "we were just gonna hold her for 2 days. Now David's not in a rush to get her. What if Eric finds out?" Gary angrily flicked away his cigarette. "And if he does, do you really think Eric will punish us? He's just putting on a show. Eric's been in the underworld too long to give up his lifestyle for redemption. Think, if we get caught, we hand her to Eric. He's got better ways of teaching than we do." "Oh, is that so?" The warehouse door suddenly opened. A tall man in a black coat strode in, followed by burly bodyguards. His light eyes swept over them, chuckling. "Why don't you try my ways of teaching today?" The kidnappers shuddered and fell to their knees. "Eric," Gary pointed at me in a haste. "We got you a girl. She's exciting. Just drugged for instant use." Eric frowned slightly, his gaze landing on me with a hint of darkness. His devilishly handsome face made my hairs stand on end. Despite the body heat swirling within me, I shivered and recoiled. Eric's brows arched slightly. He squatted before me, pulling out a folding knife. His voice was colder than its blade. "Might hurt, bear with it. Time to get you out of here." "Get me out." "No, please don't kill me." My mind snapped back, instincts kicking in. Tied hands clutched him, teary eyes pleading, "Please, don't kill me. I'll find a way to pay. I really don't want to die now. I beg you." Eric's eyes flicked to where I held him, pausing, an amused brow raising. "Why not now?" I paused. Is that really the point? But I had no choice but to answer. Because, I lowered my head and whispered, the country just passed the 3-child policy. Most young people don't want kids. If I die now, I might end up in an older family that does. I haven't lived enough yet. Now's really not a good time. Eric's expression froze, his lips twitching with a hint of a smile. I didn't notice, overwhelmed by the heat within me. My survival instincts calculated my odds, and I took a gamble, lightly kissing Eric's lips. "I'll behave." No resistance, Do what you want with me. The silence in the warehouse was deafening. Eric's eyes darkened. He swallowed, but said nothing. I bit my lip, a glimpse of hope igniting. I lifted my bound arms and clasped his neck, kissing him again. Yet Eric pushed me away, keeping the distance while sternly locking eyes with me. Never planned to kill you. Now's the time to change your mind. I can find you another guy. Stick with me and there's no turning back. The heat was intense. My eyes were blurred. I nestled into his arms and shook my head. With you. No regrets. If that's how it must end, might as well be with someone handsome. The next second, his lips claimed mine. He held onto the back of my head. In the hotel bathroom, the shower was loud. Breathless whispers made the space hotter. He raised my arms above my head, pinning me to the wall, taking charge. Yet his fingers spared a moment to tease the ring on my hand, smirking. With a boyfriend and you still want me? You think I'm a nice guy? The warm water kept my eyes shut, my body weak, unable to stand. My mind was fading. No, ring, don't need it. Hair, is this your first time? He chuckled huskily by my lips, taking the ring off. Don't want it. Then it's going back to him. My arms dropped, leaving me to slide down, clinging to his muscular back. The sounds leaving my mouth were chaotic. Eric, my name, whispered in my ear, calling to me. Ah, I screamed, my nails scratching his back. Eric. David. On the beach lounge chair, a woman lay softly in David's arms, protesting his distraction. Then she moved to kiss him. David turned his head away, looking at the phone on the table that hadn't buzzed for hours. He frowned. Anna, call again. Call one more time, and I'll believe you. 20 phone checks over 4 hours. Is it that intense? If you really care, just go see her. Nearby on another lounger, his friend Jenny saw his behavior, shaking her head in resignation. You proposed one line when you were young, stirring her heart. Grew up to dump her heartlessly, annoyed by her attention. Now, your reputation precedes you. Your mom's worried, hoping the media will make you settle and marry. Very normal. Doesn't have to be Anna's doing. I've warned you countless times. People grow cold. No one waits forever. You think the credit from your younger self won't run dry. Don't wait until she's really gone to regret it. David's fingers paused slightly, looking down and silent for a bit, then just muttered coldly. I won't regret it. Tie yourself to one person for life. Too boring. I'd rather she leaves already. Stop clinging with old feelings from when we were teens. It's a pain. Jenny frowned at his words, about to say more. David didn't want to hear it. Popped open a bottle of champagne, the fizzy spill blending into the beach party crowd. Jenny pursed her lips, silently swearing at the scoundrel in front of her. Suddenly overshadowed by David's return, his eyes playful. David, face cold, picked up his phone. After unlocking it, the ringtone rang first. David, the caller was his assistant, saying something was express shipped to the company for him. From Anna. David scoffed, annoyance welling up, feeling foolish for worrying about Anna earlier. It's a ring. The assistant paused, like the one she always wore. David's pupils shrunk abruptly. Say again. What? The assistant quickly sent a picture of the ring. David recognized it immediately. The engagement ring he gave her when he confessed at 16. Anna always cherished it on her hand. David felt something indescribable, but was soon overwhelmed by anger, scoffing as he typed fast. The fake kidnapping didn't work. Playing hard to get now. Anna, the ring's back. We're done. Don't bother me again. The message went out, met like a stone in water, no response in a usually prompt inbox. David scrolled through the conversation chaos, filled with Anna's solo care and concern for him. A cold smile tugged his lips. Yeah, Anna must still like him. Just another act for attention, determined to teach her a lesson. David shut his phone off, closing the door on her remorse or reconciliation. Standing abruptly, he shook the champagne hard. Pop, bubbles sprayed. David smashed the bottle down, turning to embrace the woman beside him, laughing wildly. I'm in a great mood today. Break out the drinks. The next day, I woke up. Eric wasn't in the room. It was my first time being kidnapped, not sure of the protocol, after sleeping with the gang leader. Should I wait to be ransomed, or am I now his for life? Or maybe, looking at the empty room and free limbs, I wondered if I should just try leaving quietly. The clothes were scattered, shirt and stockings torn beyond repair. I picked Eric's big shirt and tiptoed towards the door. From the balcony, Eric's amused chuckle suddenly echoed. Those three are loyal to you, not me. Under my rule, they're rebels, still loyal to you. A good beating's light punishment. The balcony door swung open, Eric stepping out, oblivious to me by the door. His phone moved slightly from his ear, as the other end cursed. A colder smile crept on Eric's face. Dad, don't forget, the company listens to me now. Mess with my rules, even scattered ashes won't spare them. Better not get angry. Hang up without waiting. Eric finally noticed me, held a sarcastic smile after his brief surprise, ate me up and now wanna run away. Startled, I shook my head quickly. No plans to run. Then it hit me, Eric's identity. Top-notch crime boss, his trades all illegal. No point in running from this ruthless man. Compliance is survival. Eric raised an eyebrow, approaching slowly until I was trapped against the door. His eyes scanned my legs under his shirt, darkening, then suddenly lifted me, perched me onto his shoes, bare feet secure. Guards swarmed outside. You're going out like that, not running, you're asking to die. Destabilizing, I clung to Eric's neck, resting lightly on the door, whispering, my parents are researchers, often deep in remote areas without coverage. High social standing, but not wealthy. It may be a while before they notice and pay ransom. Eric paused, then laughed. Stay with me, and you'll never worry about money. I paused for a moment, processing what he said. If there's no ransom, does that mean I've got to stay with him? It's my first time dealing with a situation like this. No clue what I'm doing. Do I have to stick around here? Or maybe, suddenly, my lips were kissed softly. Eric kissed the corner of my lips gently, smiling as he spoke. Want to date? I was stunned, blinked, confused. Huh. Then I was lifted off my feet. Eric held me and gently laid me on the bed. He whispered with a low chuckle, let's go with the dating flow. David finally turned his phone on 3 days later. 3 days of wild partying. The whole villa looked like a tornado had hit it, leaving behind just chaos and a sense of faded debauchery. The phone was even found buried in the couch. David hit the power button, collapsed onto the sofa, and snorted, waiting for all the notification sounds to finish. So many messages, but they're all from Anna. Every day, about the littlest things, she got to message him. Annoying. Wouldn't be surprised if she's got a novel worth of texts this time. Finally, the notification stopped, and David tapped on the screen, right as a call came in, and he accidentally answered it. Caller ID said it was his mom. Probably Anna brought her in to try smoothing things over again. David frowned, about to speak, but his mom's anxious voice came through first. Son, have you been able to contact Anna? She hasn't returned my messages for 3 days now. Is something wrong? 7/10 of the buzz wore off instantly. David shot up from the couch, frowning harder. Couldn't reach her. Out of nowhere, his mind flashed back to that call about a kidnapping 3 days ago. Anna still not over it. David pressed his lips together, face grim, as he hit the call button. Couldn't quite pin down what he was feeling inside. Fear, sure, but mostly just angry annoyance. Anna really crossed a line this time. Hello. The call was picked up quickly, but the voice was a stranger's low, husky tone. David's expression froze, his heart dropping. 3 in the morning. Anna's phone, answered by some guy. It all clicked. She'd been kidnapped. Fear surged through him, and David clenched his fist tightly, his voice tense. Where's Anna? Let her take the call. You haven't hurt her, right? Tell me where. I'll come pay the ransom myself. There was a pause on the other end, maybe a slight laugh, but they didn't say much more. Just spoke softly in a gentle rasp. Not tonight. She's exhausted. Even if you got God to help, she couldn't walk right now. David sprang up. His eyes showed clear shock. Almost immediately, he yelled, kicking over the coffee table in front of him, eyes burning red. You touched her. Who the hell gave you permission? Didn't I say I'd pay? Everyone in the villa was stunned, like someone hit pause, too scared to move. They just stood there, watching David's eyes turn red instantly. His eyes filled with a terrifying anger, veins popping on his neck. It took him a few deep breaths to somewhat control his rage as he wiped his face. How do I pay? How do I get her back? Eric looked down at the woman sleeping in his arms. He suddenly remembered her upset face from yesterday, when she said she didn't have ransom money. A slight smile formed on his lips. 50 million, just put it on her card. I found out the next morning that I'd been bailed out. Eric stood by the bed, calmly buttoning his shirt sleeves. He seemed unfazed, casually handing me my fully charged phone. It got sent back last night. It's fixed now. You fell asleep, so I took a call from your ex for you. Snagged you 50 million in spending money. My eyes widened, holding my phone in a daze. When I saw over 100 missed calls, I was flabbergasted. They were all from David. Eric noticed the number 2, raised an eyebrow. Maybe I'm just too good at chatting. He seemed pretty keen. What? That's what he calls keen. Eric picked up his suit jacket, draping it over his arm. The way his shirt and pants outlined his broad shoulders and narrow waist made my face heat up. Images of the past few indulgent days flashed in my mind. Eric noticed my reaction, smiled, and leaned down to plant a soft kiss on my forehead. Be good. Don't tempt me. We won't get out of here otherwise. My face turned beet red instantly. Eric gently ruffled my hair, raised an eyebrow casually. Say hi to David for me. No surprise, real generous guy. But, dare rekindle old flames. I won't go easy on you. Those 3 kidnappers got dealt with, but Eric's guys were connected. If dragged into this, it'd be a mess. So, he couldn't really take me back himself. I took a cab back on my own. I didn't go straight home. Instead, I went to David's mom's place first. With my parents' work, they are barely around. So, I mainly hung out with David, with his mom, Wendy, looking after me too. Anna, you're safe now, back home, Wendy said, tearing up, holding my hand, looking guilt-ridden. David sat on the opposite couch, unusually silent. Ever since I walked in, he didn't stop watching. His dark eyes, marked with red, filled with a dreadful gloom. Wendy called him, but got no response. She ignored him after that, and, while wiping her tears, apologized to me. Anna, I'm really sorry. It's all my fault. I just wanted to get David to marry you quickly. Never thought it'd make kidnappers target you. Thank goodness it was just money they wanted. If they'd really hurt you, how could I face your parents? There was a loud thud from the sofa. David, who'd been silent until now, suddenly shot up. Something she said triggering him. He grabbed my arm and started dragging me upstairs. His hand was cold, like ice. I struggled hard, but couldn't break free. David, let go. He ignored the shouts, kept dragging me up to a bathroom in one of the guest rooms. He locked the door behind him, voice frigid, though his fingers were slightly trembling. Shower. David, what the hell is wrong with you? Honestly bewildered, I brushed him off, heading for the door. I'm clean, what's with the shower? But David pulled me back, glaring at me as if wanting revenge. Where is he? I stopped, slightly dumbfounded. Who? David's neck veins bulged. Saying the name seemed to fuel his anger. The kidnapper, who took the call last night. I couldn't help but laugh, slipping from his distracted grasp. Ever think maybe he saved me, didn't kidnap me? David was so furious he laughed, almost through gritted teeth. Saved you to a bed, needed to touch you for that. Truth is, I'm not sure what's got David so angry. Hard to guess. I let out a sarcastic laugh. I was kidnapped, not on vacation. I should feel lucky I wasn't left half dead, right? Luckily the kidnapper's leader was Eric. Luckily he came that day. Luckily he wanted me. When I said this, David froze for a few seconds. He then realized what I meant, and his expression crumbled. His anger shattered, turning into helplessness in his eyes. I didn't think it was real. I just thought you were acting. I thought they were hired by you to force me into marriage. If I had known. I chuckled, interrupting him, and recalling that day, felt a dead calmness inside. You didn't know. Didn't you say you'd give them 50 million as a thank you for teaching me a lesson? A kidnapping that should have been resolved with money. Because of your words, it became a lesson for me. If I hadn't been rescued, I'd probably have been humiliated and had countless shameful videos taken of me. David, congrats. I've really learned my lesson. I won't cling to you anymore. David's expression froze. His eyes showed a color of defeat, like all his anger had been extinguished. He clenched his jaw slightly, struggling with himself, and finally managed to speak. Forget it, Anna. Forget the kidnapping. Forget that guy. Forget what happened between you two. He abruptly stopped speaking. David's lips trembled, but he couldn't finish the sentence. He took a deep breath, turning his face away, and softened his tone. Just pretend none of it happened. If you want to marry me, you can. I can offer everything but love and fidelity. For a moment, I questioned if I heard wrong. Did David just say something human? Did he forget it was him who pursued me? He proposed when he was 16, not 6. Then he casually broke his promises as an adult. He didn't consider how I'd deal with a heart given to him, having fallen in love already, like a stray dog adopted and then abandoned, helpless, aggrieved, whimpering, struggling to return to a life of wandering, eventually, collapsing under the desire for love. I turned back to desperately seek approval from my owner, trying to regain the warmth I once had. Honestly, sometimes, this dog thinks, I'd rather have not been adopted, to not be entangled. Just let it be. Anger, grievance, and other emotions tangled up together. In the end, all that's left is self-imposed helplessness. I lowered my eyes, smiling calmly. Don't force yourself. I've let go. I won't like you or bother you anymore. There's really no need for such a big sacrifice. It's all in the past. From now on, go live your carefree life. I meant every word. But but David seemed even more dissatisfied with my obedience. A strange panic flashed between his eyebrows. His tone turned mocking and annoyed. Sounds easy enough. You won't cling to me. Do you believe it yourself? Can you do it? If not, don't force yourself. I never said you should disappear from my world. I just can't give you love. Not that. My gaze fixed on the base of my ring finger. A ring once worn there, removed for just 3 days, and barely any mark was left. Just like my unwillingness to give up and let go of the past. Saying I've given up only takes a moment. David, I can do it. David's eyes narrowed suddenly. After a few deep seconds staring into mine, he eventually smirked. Sure, I'd contradict myself. You'd better be. I must be. Eric's face randomly popped into my mind, and I smiled. Otherwise, my life would be at risk. After that day, I kept my promise and distanced myself as much as possible from David. No longer did I send him random interesting stuff anytime, anywhere. Nor did I concern myself with his closeness or flirtations with others. I also didn't show up in front of him unnecessarily. I even skipped friends' gatherings if he was present. During this time, Wendy noticed my detachment and messaged me a few times. But eventually, he understood my stance and sighed. It seems we were never meant to be. About a month later, on Christmas Day, Jenny came to my pottery studio. Watching me calmly instruct the students, he raised an eyebrow and smiled. Anna, are you serious this time? You're really done with that awful guy? I clicked my tongue, glancing at him. Why aren't you at home with your wife on this holiday, instead of wandering here? Aren't you worried she'll leave after you finally won her back? Jenny's smile vanished immediately, and he lightly tossed a little clay ball at my apron. I'm here to check on you, and this is how you treat me. After saying that, he lost interest, patted the dust off his hands, and got down from the chair. He placed a handwritten invitation on the table. The light pink paper had a graceful handwritten script, clearly written by his wife, who practiced calligraphy. I'm celebrating my 3rd wedding anniversary. Anyway, David will definitely be there. You decide. I'd understand if you don't come. Jenny then picked up a bunch of roses and nodded at me, implying he was leaving. But before reaching the door, he stopped and looked back at me. Anna, David really does care about you. Over the past month, he's been acting carefree, but in truth, he often stares at his phone, waiting for your messages. I'm not trying to speak for him. I just don't want your years of persistence to be for nothing when you're so close. So I'll give you this tip. It's up to you how you decide. I'll support you regardless. If you're looking to start over, I'd happily introduce someone new. The shop door suddenly opened from the outside. The welcoming bell jingled cheerfully. Eric walked in, bundled up in a black down jacket, snowflakes swirling around him. Excuse me, Eric spoke in a cold tone. Jenny, in the midst of admiring his face, snapped back and quickly made way, apologizing. Just before he left, he glanced back at Eric, a puzzled look in his eyes, as if trying to recall where he'd seen him before. Is it snowing? I looked out, smiling. Snow on Christmas, it's perfect. Yeah, Eric nodded, not saying more. Just while the students peeked at the snow, he walked over, bent down, and kissed me quickly. His lips, cold as ice. Yet they caught me by surprise, making my eyes widen. I playfully punched him a bit, giving him a fierce look. What are you doing? People are around. Eric just smirked, eyebrows raised, justified. As your secret boyfriend, it's my skill to sneak in a kiss. So Jenny doesn't introduce someone new to you. Like we're hiding anything. We've been openly dating for over a month. Just avoiding David meant I didn't meet many people lately, so only a few know about it. The clock on the wall chimed 6 times. I tilted my head at Eric and announced to the students that class was over. By the time the last student was picked up by their parents, it was already completely dark outside. Holiday lights on the street were glowing, with snowflakes falling around them, adding a romantic touch. Eric came up from behind and wrapped me in his arms. He whispered in my ear with a magnetic voice. Everything's set. How about a date, girlfriend? This guy, seriously. At 10:10 p.m., I updated my rarely active social media. Merry Christmas, Tio. That certain someone who's been pushing for an announcement. Attached was a picture of our hands intertwined. Jenny finally recalled who Eric was. Eric, who at 25 took over as the youngest leader of C Group. The day he took charge, he declared he would shut down his dad's shady business and ordered the company to do only legal activities. In just 6 months, he propelled the zero-start C Group into the top 15 enterprises, all on his own. How did a character like that end up at Anna's little pottery studio? Surely he wasn't there to learn the craft, right? My phone buzzed with the chat group blowing up. Whoa, Anna made it official. And check it, the background when they're holding hands is a bed. It's 10 p.m. Are they living together now? With David? Nope. David was at my place last night drinking sadly, waiting for something on his phone all night. The chat went silent for a few moments, and then someone hesitantly sent a message. Waiting for Anna, perhaps. The chat awkwardly hung on that message. No one said anything else. Jenny felt a jolt and quickly checked Anna's social media. When she saw the ring on Anna's finger, she gasped. David's finally getting his comeuppance. The day after Christmas was a weekend, and the pottery studio was closed. I left Eric's place, but instead of going home, I went shopping. Picked out a gift for Jenny and her husband's 3rd anniversary. Also got a tie for someone to make up for the Christmas present. The elevator opened on the floor of my apartment. I was about to step out, when suddenly a shadow lunged at me. I was shoved hard against the elevator wall. I cried out in pain, but was silenced by a forceful kiss. The strong smell of alcohol filled my nose. David held my face, kissing me roughly. It hurt, and I frowned. Millimeter, let go. I pushed his shoulders with all my strength. When his tongue tried to invade, I bit down. David winced and finally let me go. I wasted no time and ran, but as soon as I took a step, my wrist was yanked back. What are you running for? I'm not going to eat you. David held on tight and yelled. I swung my arm and hurled all the gift boxes at his head. Are you out of your mind? Yes. David kicked the boxes on the floor, breathing heavily, his eyes fixed on my ring finger, as if he might pounce and snap my neck. Where were you last night? Why didn't you come home? I felt baffled. Where I go is none of your business, isn't it? David's body shook, and he wiped his face with his hand, his eyes fierce. Who is he? Familiar question. I looked at him quietly but didn't answer. David seemed to realize, and his face turned pale. Whether from being drunk or something else, he swayed slightly and braced the wall. Did he force you? No, we're just together. David closed his eyes, hiding the crack beneath. Break up with him. Weren't you wanting to be with me? All right, we can be together. Break it off with him, and I'll pretend none of this ever happened. David sighed, like a man giving in to invisible forces. Anna, you win. I've missed you. We be together, and I won't have anyone else. Oh, I get it. So, he thought my announcement yesterday was just a move to rile him up. David, I'm not like you. I know what my heart wants. If I like you, I'll go after you openly. I wouldn't childishly use someone else to test the waters. David's face drained of color. His fingers curled inward, but wouldn't form a fist. His eyes were red, his smile painfully ugly. It can't be. You liked me so much. How can you be with someone else so soon? I smiled wryly. The feelings of youth aren't meant to be taken seriously. Not wanting to argue, I turned to unlock my front door. Just as the beep signaled the unlocking, his trembling voice pleaded, "Can I start loving you again now? This time, I'll chase you." I turned around slowly, disbelief in my eyes. Why didn't you do that earlier? Setting things even now, starting over. David looked very defeated. He suddenly felt so bad he didn't know what to do. It was just that I hadn't realized I loved you earlier. Jenny was right. He really regretted it, even though he always said he wouldn't regret it. But when he saw her holding someone else's hand, he kind of wanted to tear that guy apart. That was his Anna, the one always behind him, if he ever turned around. How did someone else snatch her away, unable to be redeemed? How can an adult not understand what they truly want? It's just pretending indifference and inexcusable arrogance. The excuse of not knowing they were in love, often a cover for a player hiding their insatiable greed. At the elevator, Eric stood, arms crossed, against the wall, at some point unnoticed. His light hoodie and workout pants giving off an inexplicably bold vibe. David's eyes narrowed when he saw Eric, recognizing him from the night's provocative call. So, it's Eric. Eric smirked, placing his fingers in a mock salute at his brow, his charm with an irresistible touch of rogue. Hello, former lover who regrets too late. David's face darkened instantly. Eric, unconcerned about David's demeanor, casually glanced at the boxes scattered on the floor. His gaze landed on the tie, smiled at me. Is this my announcement gift? I pouted. No. Oh, Eric replied, but he still picked up the tie, draped it around his neck, walked to my side, and confidently said, you tie it for me. I rolled my eyes at him and tugged him inside the house. Why are you wearing a tie with a hoodie? No worries, I look handsome no matter what, he said. As the door closed behind us, I didn't look back, but still heard the wistful whisper from behind, but you learned to tie a tie for me back then. With Eric's nudge, I finally came to Jenny and her husband's party. Eric, looking sharp in a suit, got everyone's attention as soon as we got out of the car. Jenny walked up, offering her hand with a warm smile. Hello Eric, I'm Jenny. Eric shook her hand with a friendly smile too, but what he said made me cover my face in embarrassment. So, you think my tie looks cool, huh? Anna gave it to me as a relationship announcement gift. Eric, you're really something else. Always bringing up past grudges. Jenny probably had no clue this all started because of a Christmas comment about setting me up with a new guy. People started arriving at the party and it got lively. With Eric's status, he couldn't avoid socializing even if he wanted to. I found a quiet corner, eating tiramisu and watching Jenny on stage, holding her wife's hand and crying her eyes out. It was touching. Jenny was quite the player back in the day. The way he chased his wife was legendary, and yet he actually managed to win her over. Someone stood next to me, and even without looking, I knew who it was. Considering the event, I expected to see him here. Unlike that drunk night, David now looked more put together, but his tired expression and red eyes showed his struggle. Anna, David called out, trying hard to say my name. He looked up at the couple on stage, then raised his hand to me. In his palm was a ring, its impression still marked by having gripped it too tight earlier. Let's get married too, okay? Sorry, I'm so late with the proposal. I won't let you down again. It'll just be you, for the rest of my life. I put down my fork, my appetite gone. I took the ring I used to wear from his hand, and with a hopeful gaze, I turned away and opened the patio door. The ring traced an arc through the air and landed in the pool. David wavered, his pale face losing what little color it had, and he stammered awkwardly, Anna, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I didn't appreciate what I had before, and I was an idiot. I'm changing. I'm trying to win you back. But you deleted me. David still winces at the hopeless feeling of seeing that message and realizing I'd cut him off. He finally found a way to reach me, just to see his hopes dashed by a red exclamation mark. Anna, I'm not asking you to forgive and accept me right now. Just, at least, leave me a way to make it up and pursue you again, okay? Take a left at the door. A cold chuckle cut through the air. Before I realized it, I was enveloped in a firm, warm embrace. Eric held me possessively and smugly raised an eyebrow at David. How about checking out the crematorium? I'll pick up your ashes later. With David stirring things up, Eric and I thought it best to leave early, not wanting to disrupt the party any further. We said a quick goodbye and headed out. Not going home? I asked, slightly puzzled as Eric looked down at a map. Nah, I'm in a good mood today. I'm taking you to the beach to watch the sunrise. I trusted him. He meant sunrise, but didn't mention how it would start with us making out in the car. Caught in the moment's passion, at the height of intimacy, Eric lifted my hand. I felt a brief coolness on my ring finger. I was clear-headed for just a second, before I was lost again in our fingers interlaced. Jenny's call came just as dawn was breaking. I lay spent against Eric's chest, my voice still tinted with sleep. What's up, Jenny? But it wasn't Jenny on the phone. It was another mutual friend. Anna, come see David. He spent hours in the pool trying to retrieve the ring you threw away. It's winter. He collapsed once he got out, and is now in the hospital barely hanging on. You grew up together, after all. You should come see him. I pressed my lips together at that, then calmly said, is he awake? If he's conscious, pass him the phone. There was silence for about 10 seconds. Then David's weak, hoarse voice softly cried out, Anna, I found the ring. I found it. Can you? David, I calmly interrupted him. You really have a lot of ways to pester me now, huh? Stop wasting time on pointless things, and don't ruin me and Eric's sunrise. On the other end, the line abruptly quieted. I too froze, because I'd just looked down. My eyes fell on the ring now adorning my finger. In the sudden burst of sunlight, it sparkled brilliantly. Eric wrapped an arm around my waist, pulling me into his hold, brushing his fingers over the ring. Wearing my ring means you're my wife now. If you dare run away, he teased. I smiled mischievously, my eyebrow arching. I'll scatter your ashes myself.